Okay, hello and welcome to this training presentation from GarrettCom on how to set up your network card. Now this technically doesn't have anything to do with GarrettCom switches or routers other than its required knowledge. So some users out there might not be familiar with how exactly they need to set up the IP address of their network card and the different settings there to get it to work with a switch or a router. So this video is primarily designed to help those users. So to make the problem slightly worse, different versions of Windows will give you different ways to get to the same place. However, if we go to Start and in the search box, if we just type in network, in the list will come up with this section here, the Network and Sharing Center. Okay, so if we click there, we get this dialog box opens, and this is where we can start to manage all of our network connections, regardless of whether they're VPNs, internet connections, local area network connections, wireless connections, all of those stuff. So this is all the stuff I have currently on my network, and what we're looking to do here is go down to Change Adapter Settings, click on there, and here we can see we have all of my network connections, both the physical ones here for my physical wired connection and my physical wireless connection, and also some virtual ones, for example a tap interface. This is used for my VPNs. So what we want to do here is typically when I'm going to be working with some of the switches, if I don't need to have my wireless enabled, I typically disable it, and it's good to show you how you would do that. So up here on the menu item is an option to disable this network device, or we can select it by clicking on it and right click and click disabled. Okay, so what it does is it disables the wireless, and now we only have sort of one active connection, so it just kind of makes our lives a little bit easier, prevents any conflicts where we might have a couple of our network interfaces trying to use the same IP address. So this is where we wanted to spend most of our time. On the actual wired, the local area connection Ethernet interface, if we click here and right click, go down to Properties, we get this menu box opens up. Alternatively, we can double click, we get a different menu box, but again go to Properties, and again you can disable it here. Obviously if it's enabled you get the option to disable it, if it's disabled you get the option to enable it, and up here we have some more information about what's going on. So we click Properties, and that gives us to the same window we had before. So in my mind it's more efficient just to go right click and Properties, takes you straight there. Now this box up the top here is very important if you want to do some more of the advanced network card configuration changes. If you click on here you get the menu pops up, and in the advanced sections you can change things like the speed and the duplex of your network card. You could also change things like TCP checksum offload. Sometimes if you're using Wireshark you can get errors due to these settings being enabled when it should be disabled. If you need to do that you can do that here. So but the most important one by far on this list is the speed and the duplex settings here, so you'd select it in the menu item, and then these are your options for that particular settings. Okay, when you want to make the change, click OK, and then let's right click again, and in this section we want to go down to this part here, Internet Protocol version 4, TCP IP version 4. If we select it and then click Properties, this is the box where we will enter the IP address. Now typically you'll see your IP address, your network card set up as this, where it's obtained the IP address automatically. This will be relying on the DHCP server on your network to give it the IP address, its default gateway, its subnet mask, its DNS servers, these types of things. Typically those services are provided by a Windows server if it's a company network, or if it's your home network, typically your home router will provide you with that information. If however you want to set yourself a static IP address, you go use the following IP address here, type one in, I always give this one a 100 for the lab. Standard 24-bit mask, and let's give it a default gateway, which is the IP address of the router. So this is the IP address I'm going to use if I want to get off my local network. Click OK. So we've got IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and then OK. And close. And that's pretty much it. So it covers the fundamentals. As I said, there are some more advanced topics you can go into. By all means, get stuck in, have a look around, see what you can find. I don't think you're going to damage anything too much, so there's always the internet for a great resource on a particular setting, what this does. But for what we need to do, that pretty much covers it. So on behalf of GarrettCom, I'd like to thank you for your time, and I hope this has been helpful for you. And goodbye.